So a question that was posed recently in my gym, the little hometown gym that I work out at, they were these two older guys who were talking way louder than they should about some shit they shouldn't really be talking about. Were loudly exclaiming, like, why are there so many more fucking gay people now? Like, every time I turn around, there's more gay people. Like, they were talking about it like it was COVID, which was funny because they didn't even talk about COVID like it was COVID. They didn't even believe in COVID, even though a lot of people in that gym got COVID and died. There's a whole I'm sorry. I'm going to back this up a little. I'm going to take a step back. Okay. They were talking about it like it's a disease on society, and they were remembering the good old days when there weren't any gay people. And what they meant were there weren't any gay people on TV.
Right.
They were hearkening back to a much...
Or any gay people who felt safe
to
openly presenting that way and claiming that for themselves.
So I actually said some words to them, and it wasn't very pleasant, and I was not very nice. But I was standing up for my gay brothers and sisters and non-binary pals. And but the purpose of that interaction where I was kind of saying you're creating an environment that's less safe for people that I care about when you're talking about this. They are raising a good point, though.
Yeah.
Which I think is interesting, that there are more gay people today. Or at least there's more gay people who are out now, right?
Yeah, that's the difference.
What's your take on this?
That people have... Well, one, that there's more safety. Now, that's not always true, and there are a lot of things trying to go against that. But in general, there's more safety, and there's also more representation. That, I have always been attracted to women, but I didn't realize that...
Men and women, right?
Right, to men and... Right, right.
All right. That was a close one.
I'm across the spectrum. I'm very, pan, but bi plus. But, yeah, so I didn't realize that other people were feeling this way. I didn't know that it existed.
Yeah.
I knew that it was true in me, but I didn't realize that that was a possibility for anybody's life because there had been so little representation of that.
Yeah.
That said, representation was just helping me to see something that was already true about me. There has been a lot of research to demonstrate that representation is not what makes people queer. That most gay folks now grew up with just straight couples on TV and just straight representation in all other forms of media.
Yeah.
And that's what was acceptable. And they were still gay. That's not what's making that happen.
Or even your story. You lived the life you were allowed to live. You weren't allowed to be anything but straight. So you just thought everybody feels bi, but but you didn't even have that language for it. Yeah. And you just fell into line. Here's an interesting study. The percentage of the population by generation that is out, that has claimed that they are anything other than straight. Baby boomers, 3%. Millennials, 3%.
Wait, not millennials.
Sorry. Gen X, 3%. Millennials, we jumped to 11%.
Yeah.
And then Gen Z coming in at 20%.
Yeah.
The question is Gen Z inherently gayer than the baby boomers and, Gen X are? Are they gayer than the millennials? Or perhaps are they more able to identify as what they truly are?
There's the same thing that's happening within why so many neurodivergent folks are also queer in some way.
That's so true.
Is that they've gotten to take the time to ask those questions of themselves. And I think there's something really freeing about being neurodivergent and being like, oh, I already don't fit into this box. Well, where else don't I fit in? What else is just true about me that nobody told me about, that nobody acknowledged might happen for me? And I think that Gen Z is getting to come into this world being able to ask those questions.
Yeah.
That other people around them are asking those questions. Not only is there more safety, but they're just seeing it and they're like, oh, well, I have a best friend who is trans. I wonder how I feel about my gender. And maybe they arrive at cis. Yeah. But just having asked the question.
Well, what's a shame for those guys at the gym who were talking where are all these gay people coming from? They were probably born and raised in an environment where it was fucking dangerous to be anything but straight.
Yep.
In fact, I know that if they're from this area, I know it was dangerous for them. That they probably knew of people who died over that. And they didn't have exposure to anything else. Yeah. They didn't have any exposure or any representation of anything else. So who knows what those guys are?